Hey guys, Claire here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. Last week, we talked about President Biden inviting the US Invictus team to the White House for the Christmas tree lighting, and this week, the president of Poland has met with the Polish Invictus Games team, and I've really been enjoying seeing so many of the governments of the Invictus Games participants wholeheartedly supporting the veterans. These vets deserve all the love and support that they're getting. Now, Prince Harry's libel claim against the Mail on Sunday will be going to trial. Also, just this week, we heard about so many claimants receiving payouts from, I believe, the Sun. So the issue of press intrusion within the UK is incredibly prevalent. Now, Harry's memoir Spare officially places in second place for the book of the year, and Prince Harry makes the list for People's 25 most intriguing people of 2023. This week, we've seen two lovely ladies channeling the Duchess Meghan style. Alex Earl wore the white version to Meghan's, is that tan or camel colored dress that she wore to the Power of Women event. And we also saw Marchioness of Bath wore the green gown that Meghan wore to the Variety photo shoot. I love that gown. I love both of the gowns, but the green is stunning. Charles and Kate are doing their best to distract from them being revealed as the royal racists. Charles, of course, is shaking hands with just about every black person that he can find and briefing to the press that it is his greatest wish to spend time with his grandchildren for Christmas. But let's not forget that throughout the past 4 or 5 years, Charles had made zero efforts to spend time with those children. He takes his private jets and planes all around the world, never took one trip to see the children, and we all know, as much as there is a lot of tension and bad blood between the family, there is no way that Harry would not accept Charles if he decided to say, I want to spend time with the kids. He would do it. Charles made no effort to see them. He took away Harry's security, took away Frogmore. I mean, sir, the opportunities have been there. You choose not to take it. And even when Harry invited them to Lilibet's christening, they did not show up. They declined the invitation. Princess Diana's sisters did not. So Charles, attempting to pull on the heartstrings like he's some sort of sad grandpapa who just wants to spend time with his grandchildren, is just simply laughable and very transparent. This week I also heard that, I can't remember the university, but one of the universities declined to use the anthem, God Save the King. The royal family has a serious problem with connecting to younger folk. And so far, the way that they've handled this scandal and all the other scandals that has happened within recent history shows that they're just not getting it. It's the same old ploys, same old tabloids, same old family, same old tricks. And while it may be effective for avid royalists, for a lot of us, not so much. Now, Kate, good old Kate, is embracing the "we are very much not a racist family" two-step by doing her PR stunts with, black folks, as usual. Did you guys ever notice that whenever William and Kate are addressing racism, they'll always have a black woman right beside them when they're leaving the buildings and heading to their cars? Always. And also, remember when William came out with his one black friend? Have we ever seen William with his black friend again? Just saying. So when Kate's not using people of color for her PR, she's busy cosplaying Meghan again. And it's interesting because even the Telegraph called it out.
One thing that I found really interesting is the conversation around Kate Middleton and how she dresses. Now, clearly, she copies Meghan. I think it's interesting that when she cosplays royal women, from Diana to the Queen to Meghan Markle, it is seen as smart and strategic to get her name in the headlines and or to invoke some type of emotion from the public. But kind of standing back and looking at Kate holistically, or as much as anyone can, because quite frankly, we don't know much about Kate Middleton, the person, I actually find her cosplay to be concerning and, dare I say, a little bit disturbing. Now, the reason why I think what Kate is doing is actually concerning and not very strategic is, like I said, I've been trying to take a step back and kind of look at her as a person, because after 10 plus years of her being in the public eye, no one actually knows anything about Kate Middleton, the person. Now, the things that we do know is that she took a gap year so she could attend the same school as William. And she then attached herself to William for years before he finally broke down and asked her to marry him. Now, most people who are being honest about the situation know that this is not a love match. And I'm not saying that it has to be. But the fact that she attached herself to this man, was always in the paparazzi, feigning sadness to get his attention, those type of behaviors, I think in any other context, would be considered disturbing, or dare I say, stalkerish. But going back to her dressing like this man's deceased mother. Now, a few times of maybe wearing a Diana-inspired outfit, I could maybe see. But maybe it's just me, and this is coming from someone that has lost my mother. I cannot say something that I would hate more than to see my spouse dressing like my deceased parent. Because she doesn't just take inspiration from Diana. She will dress almost exactly like her. And I just think it's interesting the way we talk about it, because you don't see other royal women dressing like this. They may take inspiration from another royal woman in their family every once in a while, but the fact that she does this on a consistent basis, I feel it needs to be talked about more. This is not something that royal women just do and she's doing the exact same thing. No, she is turning herself into the women around her. And my question is why? Because, before I make my next point, I really want to talk about this picture. The fact that Kate Middleton wore almost the exact same outfit that Diana did when she had Harry as when Kate had Prince Louis, this is not strategy. I genuinely don't believe this is strategy. I think something may actually be wrong. Because, to your point, when she is at a more formal royal engagement, she will dress like Queen Elizabeth. When she wants to be seen as the princess of the people, she'll dress like Diana. Or when she wants to be seen as powerful or professional or modern, she will dress like Meghan Markle. That we are seeing a woman who tries to morph into the women around her for whatever reasons, and we're playing into this by saying, oh, she's just paying homage, and she's not. Like this is not paying homage. This is someone who is cosplaying as women, both living and dead, and I think that we really need to be concerned about why.
Oh shit, it's time to roll out the Kate's not racist props. Kill the black people. I'm sure Kate said, we got to make this look good. Make sure she stays as close to me as possible. That family always telling on their damn self. Oh Lord, more ribbon cutting I see. But I bet her fans thought that shit was powerful. Oh, she didn't level it up. She didn't collect another black body. How these black women be getting roped into these clown shows is beyond me. I guess 2 black women weren't enough, so kill the black child. Look at her. She too damn uncomfortable. She was probably praying that one of his braids wouldn't touch her hand. Girl, your team hates you because that whole act made you look guilty as charged.
Besides the cosplaying, we have the distraction tactic of using royal reporter Roya to write that silly little article talking about Harry and Meghan not being invited to a wedding. A wedding, mind you, that is not going to happen until next June or July. So it's interesting the timing of this exclusive story from Roya. And as soon as that story is dropping, Roya also shared the invitation to Kate's Christmas soiree. Now, do you guys remember during the Oprah interview, Harry and Meghan said that royal reporters would be invited to the palace during Christmas time? And remember the royal reporters all came together after the Oprah interview to say that Harry and Meghan are liars? But then months after, we would see them tweeting themselves at the palace. But remember they told us that Harry and Meghan lied? Now look, this holiday season, Roya, the woman who just wrote that little, well, it's not even a hit piece because it's really stupid, showing her invitation from Kate to her holiday event. So are they lying? Now, I do find it funny that a Sussex rep disputed that lie and basically said, yeah, we did get an invitation, we got to save the date, and we declined. And it was especially hilarious that some people are so pissed that Harry and Meghan chose to respond about that story, but still has not come out in the defense of Kate and Charles.
Buckingham Palace PR, this is Ashley. Your Majesty, hello, or should I say Guten Tag? It's Dutch. Yeah, no, I'm just brushing up on it for no particular reason. Curious Kathy when it comes to languages. Catherine's there too. Amazing. And William, hi, no, I love that. I love that. Yeah, it saves me a few calls. The more the merrier, I always say when it comes to uncomfortable conversations, which is what this will be. So, yeah, so you have been in the news. No, not positively, William. Yeah, well, the good thing is you should know how to navigate this because you have been in this situation many times before. Yeah, yeah, so crazy that they're calling the family racist. Out of nowhere. Yeah, definitely. Beyond the pale. That's a choice of words right there. Well, let's stop right there. As a reminder, libel works when what's printed is not true, right? So maybe let's sit with that for a second. But I think the thing to do here is just not acknowledge any of this. Just let it pass. You're thinking of stripping their titles? Yeah, no, that'll go super well with the allegations. Just as a reminder, we've lost Piers Morgan, right? So let's, I can call the Daily Mail.
The conversations concerning Prince Harry's protection has been very interesting this week, since, of course, the case is ongoing. And we found out that Queen Elizabeth did, in fact, want Harry and Meghan to maintain their security. Now, I can't help but wonder if Charles has lost his mind over the fact that Harry has revealed as much as he has via the interviews, via the book, via the documentary. But a lot of really shady things have been revealed via these lawsuits. Remember, we have the tabloid, I can't remember which one, but in one of the cases essentially saying, hey, a lot of the stories that we wrote about you came from your family, came from the palace. The palace does not want that. And now, for this case, we're seeing that Queen Elizabeth wanted them to have security. Charles is the one that's responsible for this. His people on that board are the ones who made that decision to punish Harry for not dropping the case, for not taking out that aide's name in his suit, for not doing the things that Charles wants him to do. And for a long time, we've said that. We've theorized that a lot of the things that Charles has done is punishment because he cannot control what Harry says, what Harry does, and it's driving him crazy.
The royal family has been accused of racism again because it's been reported that King Charles Spaniel and Wadey Katie were speculating if Harry and Meghan's children would have Jackson 5 nostrils and baby hair and afros. I cannot imagine why anyone in this family would be accused of racism, but they were concerned about the negrosity of their future relatives. A little bit is just a little bit black. The questions and speculation did not cease. But the most interesting to me is the defense of the British tabloids of Kate and Charles. One, they want Harry and Meghan to defend them. That should be an absolutely not. But also, they speculate that Kate didn't like Meghan because she didn't like Donald Trump. She was too anti-Trump? Honey, that's a positive in my book. In fact, you just made me stand. I mean, I was never going to stand this woman anyway, but Team Doria forever.
No, because I'm sick and tired of being gaslit about this topic. Sick and tired about being gaslit about this. So first of all, they were lying. First of all, it didn't happen. Then when they said it, it was like, we'll name the royals. Now the royals have been named by actually one from the other team. They're now being said, well, why have they been named? And now, when it was, before the conversation was whether they spoke the truth, now it was like, well, you know, when you are having conversations, when you're in a mixed race family, you would talk about, you know, the skin colour or the hair colour or the eye colour. I don't think that's racist at all. The key word here, the word of the day, people, is concern. Concern about how dark his skin tone would be. Concern. That is the key word that we're talking about here. That is the kind of unconscious bias racism.
Y'all want to know what I think is funny and probably an unpopular opinion? This shit. Harry and Meghan's silence over royal racists is deafening. Now, in case you've been living under a rock this week, Omid Scobie's new book, Endgame, came out, and in the Dutch version, some names were dropped. Piers Morgan then went on air and named Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and King Charles as the two royals who had conversations about their concerns over Archie's skin tone, allegedly. And why I think this is so funny is because when people were comparing Archie to a monkey, when these constant comparisons of Meghan and Catherine were all over every outlet, and when the fake story came out about Meghan making Catherine cry, the royals were silent. One could say it was deafening as well. And if I recall correctly, so many people were defending that silence. The media was defending that silence. In fact, everyone was scrutinizing Harry and Meghan for talking. Yet now, when they don't talk, it's an issue. When they're silent, they're wrong. When they talk, they're wrong. Nothing Harry and Meghan can do will appease some of you guys. The other thing I think is really interesting is this silence coming from the palace. There's no denial of this. So far, there's no lawsuit. It has just been business as usual. And to me, those are some pretty big and bold allegations for them to remain quiet on. Now, the other thing I want to say is that Catherine is not above criticism. I've liked Catherine since her and William started dating, but I've also criticized Catherine and the institution from time to time because I think it's necessary that we criticize those who we like and maybe even love. I think it's necessary that we criticize institutions and people in high power. And from what I've seen over my time on TikTok is that people do not want you criticizing them whatsoever. Them being the royal family, especially Catherine. Because let's be real, every other member of the royal family is not above criticism. People will criticize Charles and Camilla, they'll criticize William. They sure as F have no problem criticizing Harry and Meghan, even more so than Prince Andrew. But it seems like the only person truly above that criticism is Catherine, because she fits this mold of a perfect, pretty princess. Now, here's the thing. I, for one, think criticism is necessary. It helps us grow and evolve. And I've been criticized a number of times on my videos. And I will take that criticism in stride. And if I think it's constructive and accurate criticism, I will, change or evolve to better myself. But we don't really see that happening with the institution or with Catherine. And that is something I would like to see.
I find Meghan haters are deliberately obtuse. That they take something that she says or does and willfully misunderstand it because they want a reason to continue to hate her. I think you have given me a perfect example of this. You reduce what she said to Meghan was not allowed to wear colors, that she never wore colors. Let's check the tape and see what she actually said. In the documentary, Meghan herself says, most of the time that I was in the UK, I rarely wore color. There was thought in that. To my understanding, you can't ever wear the same color as Her Majesty if there's a group event. But then you also should never be wearing the same color as one of the other more senior members of the family. So I was like, well, what's a color they'll probably never wear? Camel, beige, white? It also was so I could just blend in, like I'm not trying to stand out here. So there's no version of me joining this family and trying to not do everything I could to fit in. I don't want to embarrass the family. So let's recap. what she said was there was a royal protocol where you did not wear the same color as the Queen or senior members of the royal family. Then she goes on to say she also deliberately made the choice to wear neutrals because it allowed her to blend into the background. Because, after all, she was getting criticized by Meghan haters and the media that she was trying to put the attention on herself, that she was always breaking rules. Now, can you find examples of where Meghan isn't wearing neutrals? Absolutely you can. Most of the time, those are just engagements she had with Harry or by herself, or it's occasions where clearly the royal family got together and said, we're going to wear this color, you guys wear this color. So if you look in this photo below, you have Kate and Camilla matching. You have Meghan and I can't remember which cousin that is, but you have one of the cousins matching, okay? This was a choice. But there were plenty of other times where she was just wearing neutrals, okay? She did not say she could never wear color. She said she made that choice so that she would not match senior members of the royal family or the Queen, and that she would blend in. And the fact that Meghan haters reduced that whole paragraph of what she says down to she was never allowed to wear colors, she never wore colors, is a good example of my criticism that Meghan haters are deliberately obtuse about what she says and what she does. And now trying to point out a time where she wears neutrals as if it's some sort of gotcha, like it doesn't make sense.
The royal family a racist family, sir? We're very much not a racist family.
When this first happened, everyone was like, William was protecting Charles, or maybe Prince Philip, because before it was said exactly who it was. He was protecting Kate, because if you look at her face in that moment when he actually starts to speak out on that question, she turns like, don't you dare answer this, because she wants to just pretend it didn't exist, like recollections may vary. And now hearing that tidbit about how Kate was the one to urge the Queen, recollections may vary, that's Kate being like, bitch, I didn't say that. I don't know why you think I said that. Like, a hit dog will holler. A hit dog will holler. I cannot believe I did not see this. Meghan went to Northwestern. Meghan is smart. She's articulate. She's somebody who lights up a room. Anyone who's actually spent time with her has said that. Anyone who's actually interviewed her has noticed that. She's a very charismatic person. And Miss Stepford wife Katie, who did everything right and feels like she deserves the Diana treatment, to see that black woman get it, it hit her to her core. It hit her to her soul. Because no way is this black woman gonna get what she was supposed to get. How? She didn't have to go through any of the stuff that I had to deal with. How? How did they love her so instantly? They hated me at first. It took me years to get them to like me and pushing out babies. She hadn't even had a baby, and they were already showering her with the type of love and affection that Katie felt that she deserved. Because just remember, kids, if she would have picked the right brother, if she would have waited for Harry, which her age would not allow her to do, but if she would have waited for Harry, she would have gotten the treatment that she thought she would get. But being married to Mr. Temper William, this is where she is, as a Stepford bride, trying to pretend that she likes a man who flies off the handle. I get it now. I get all of it. It shook her, because I've been somebody who just exists. And like, I will tell you this about narcissistic people who believe that they're entitled to something. When somebody younger and in their estimation lesser achieves what they thought they were owed, it shakes them. This is gonna hurt her pride. If Katie ever loses her estimation in the eyes of the public, it will hurt her way more than it ever hurt Meghan. Because she is banked on this. She is like, I am number one. And so the idea that somebody could ever eclipse her in any moment, not forget in life, but in any moment, oh, she is shook. Like, I think her and that girl Robin from Sister Wives should go and have a party together, because they are very similar.
Here's the thing, babes. You are right. I do live in a constant state of delulu, but not about this. Not about this, okay? Because this is my Roman Empire. So I'm not Delulu about this, beloved. So, yes, the future Queen of England, if she should be so lucky and doesn't get replaced, even though I don't think that's going to happen, is indeed threatened by the American actress. The way that she's been moving since Meghan entered the royal scene does point to someone that is bothered and threatened by someone, right? The fact that it took for Meghan to appear in modern clothing for Kate to realize that she doesn't need to dress like Serena Joy anymore does show that she is paying attention. Because if there's anything that I'm gonna come on this app with, it's gonna be with receipts, babe. It's gonna be with receipts. You should have just sat there and minded your business. You should have just sat there and had worried about more important things like dissolving your filler, but here you are. So next time, if my content bothers you, you could just simply ignore it, or you could even block me. You know, just another one for good measure. Also, before I go, I just want to add in another thing. If she wasn't bothered by the American actress, she would have kept it cute and put it on mute and would not have been speaking on Meghan's unborn child.
Royals is so out of touch that they are calling on their son and daughter-in-law, who they ran up out of the palace because they were in fact being racist, to defend them against racist allegations, further proving they don't even see or hear Meghan Markle. My God, let's chit chat. This is from TMZ, but according to TMZ, the royal family wants Harry and Meghan to pipe up and defend them against new racist claims after Piers Morgan took it upon himself to name the king as one of the people mentioned in this book that was coming out. Okay. Brought in my Princess Diana Beanie Baby to help me finish the rest of this story. You may remember that Harry and Meghan essentially left the royal family because of just wild behavior, including but not limited to them inquiring about how dark Harry and Meghan's baby would be. Harry didn't want Meghan's life to go the way that his mom's life went, so they picked up and left it all behind. Now the royal family is calling on them to pipe up and defend them. How out of touch do you have to be? Oh my God.
What a week. As everyone and their mother knows by this point, Omid Scobie released his newest royal biography entitled Endgame, documenting the firm's final strategies in their quest to keep the monarchy together after the death of the Queen and the departure of Harry and Meghan. I appreciate that Scobie noted the conservatism of the monarchist institution and how that conservatism has in some ways turned into courting a reactionary base, including using racism and harkening back to their colonial past as a tool for their continued power. I know I nor Omid are the first people to realize that the royal family is racist, duh, but it's a breath of fresh air when a royal commentator brings up a gigantic problem with upholding this institution into the 21st century, one who is also the head of a commonwealth full of people of color. And as someone who has read a lot of crazy royal biographies, you don't understand how rare that can be. Second, one thing I've been highlighting recently, especially on TikTok, is how the royal family has been using Diana's legacy, but only the parts that benefit them, to manipulate the public's memory of her. This is a picture of an example that Omid actually gives in the book of Kensington Palace's exhibition on Diana called Diana, a fashion icon or fashion legacy, something like that. He discusses in one chapter how they are more than willing to use her glamour, for example, to market replicas of her jewelry or give nods to her fashion in their engagements, but have worked as well to use the media to change the narrative around her unhappy life and the role that other royals played in that tragedy, as well as banning her BBC interview where she candidly expressed her struggles. He also notes that it's the interview in which she remarked that Charles would not be fit to be king. I pretty much 100% agree with Scobie's interpretation. Sympathetic royal biographers often had tried to change Diana's story into that of a shrill and paranoid woman whose struggles were all in her head, not exacerbated by the horrible treatment by her family. But they have also, time and time again, had to completely give up on trying to completely denigrate her character, since she is still to date one of the most popular members of the family, even in death. So how they treat her memory in death is very telling, in that they only want to use the parts of her image that allow the monarchy grift to continue. Third, Scomey's book doesn't shy away from showing the complete entanglement between the royals, the media, and the government. I've talked extensively about how discussions of the royal family, especially their personal life, get siloed into drama and gossip because the stories related to the royal family are often marketed towards women. When it's a politician, it's news. When it's the royal family, it's gossip. But it allows for the royals to avoid any real scrutiny from the public in relation to their governmental roles and the former government officials they employ. For example, hey, this guy here, Jean-Christophe Gray, former official spokesperson to David Cameron, and now, though not for long, the private secretary for Prince William. Hey, isn't it interesting? I thought that David Cameron just got a life peerage from King Charles. And this guy that worked for David Cameron also works for Prince William? Wow, it's such a small world, isn't it? Scobie gives great descriptions of the family's corruption, especially Charles, but even outside of the obvious corruption with like cash for honors, these relationships are still important to understand and disentangle. Scobie's book was a breath of fresh air, where the family's connections to government and politics of the era are not divorced from their decisions. They have hired people from the conservative government. They have had numerous conversations with the conservatives during their 13-year reign in Britain. They have capitalized on the public's growing xenophobia and open racism in much the same way as the conservative government has. And royal commentary cannot and should not shy away from that. What's made me most happy, though, is that Scobie's book, despite obviously the media trying their darndest to spin it in a million circles to distort the message of the text, is that at least it's getting some modicum of attention, even if sometimes it's not great attention. I'm hoping that it gets more people interested in digging more into this discussion and hopefully helps educate others more as to how this whole royal family operates. Maybe others will get invested in seeing this endgame play out in the public's favor, not the monarchy's.
You know what bugs me the most about Meghan Markle? The entitlement.
No, it's not. It's not entitlement. You know exactly what it is. Just say it. We all know. Stop pretending, y'all.
Do you know what bugs me the most about Meghan Markle?
We know what it is that bugs you the most about Meghan Markle. We know.
Do you know what bugs me the most about Meghan Markle?
That she can afford real pearls on her neck. Oh, wait. That she's black. That you're not her. And you will never, ever be her.
Do you know what bugs me the most about Meghan Markle? The entitlement. This girl is...
Has anyone noticed that all the women that can't stand Meghan Markle look exactly the same?
Prince William's project to end homelessness is doing so well. I mean, last year his success at selling 32 copies of The Big Issue led to him wanting to do it again this year. I mean, at this rate, he's going to solve homelessness in no time.
You on the interwebs know that I have a completely scientific and objective theory that men who are not racist age better. Once I came across this tweet, I thought that while I do not traditionally believe in specter, scientific evidence presented above might just make me call Ghostbusters. One thing I know, CoverGirl, for certain, it's that universal bad Princess Diana snatched this man's hair from beyond the grave. William went from luscious locks to needs a late Abercrombie to maybe zombie. Diana did him dirty indeed, but also the royal family.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell.